Hello, everyone. You are listening to the To Hull and Back podcast, proudly sponsored, I should say, by Old Zoological Bar and Kingfisher Quality Fish and Chips in Hull. I'm your host, Nathaniel, and tonight we're joined by Joe. And after a few weeks' absence, Will is back. How are you, Will?
Prodigal son has returned, bringing good
that's a bit
tidings
much.
and 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, this will be a bit more of a positive podcast because it's been a while since we've won. I mean, I don't really want to burn our own bridges and criticize everyone who's been critical of the club.
Oh, I'll happily do that.
I mean, yeah, I'll do that after you then, Will. Joe, how are you as well tonight?
Great. I've just been for a Toby Carvery. And yeah, life is good. Life is even better after that win, which it felt so far away. But now we've got one. I feel like any team in this division should be beating Cardiff, the state they're in. But now we've got one, and when you consider they've sacked their manager as well, it gives me more hope that even though they might have a bit of a new manager bounce, we can still beat them because we've proven that we can win.
It's like London buses, isn't it? You know, you wait for one win and then hopefully we get another one. And yeah.
Hey, what about East Yorkshire buses? I've been coming out of Hessel and had 266s went behind each other before. Don't neglect our home region, Nathaniel.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, but it's just the expression. I've never heard anyone say, "Oh, it's like 266 buses to Hessel." You wait for one and another comes around. No one says that.
I was joking.
No, I disapprove of that. I disapproved of the first half against Stoke. I mean, when we were 1-0 down, I thought, oh, it's the same sort of thing, and we kept giving the ball away. Panda had to make a few good saves, and I think if Stoke, like we saw against Leeds and Sheffield United, if they were a good team, we would have been put to bed, and we would not have won that game. But they were pretty bad in the second half. We were really good. Will, what was your summation of the first half? Did you really see us getting back into it?
Why would we have to talk about the first half? Why do we have to talk about the first half?
It's a 90-minute match. You know, we've got to be... we don't have to be objective.
Okay, then we were shit.
Yeah.
we weren't very good. And you had that feeling, and it was like, oh, for God's sake. Yeah, they sacked their manager, who Schumacher wasn't even doing that badly, in my opinion. No. I thought it was a weird sacking. And I thought, oh, God, not a new manager bounce. Oh, Christ almighty. It's the worst possible time it could have come. And it did. And that goal, that corner was so easy to defend from Wilmot. It was obvious what they were going to do, and they just didn't do it. And it's a problem that City have had for a few weeks now, let's be honest, all season under Tim with set pieces. But difference is they responded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Joe, it's just typical City that Hull would concede. I mean, rather than Stoke, of course. Just as that graphic went up, that Stoke hadn't scored in the last, 63 corners?
Yeah. It's so typical, isn't it? Overall, the first half, I was sat watching it, just sat here on my laptop with Sky Go loaded up. And like at home, you get a different sense of the game than you do in the ground. And watching us on TV, I can sort of understand why people against Sheffield United were saying, oh, yeah, well, you look quite good on the ball and all that kind of thing. Even though on the, even though actually on the ground against Sheffield United, it was horrible to watch. And I thought, right, there's little glimmers there, you know, Baloomi's had an effort, and we still sort of struggled to create anything clear cut, though. And that was concerning. There was obviously the couple of card incidents, you know, the fact it took Ben Gibson mouthing off at the assistant referee in the second half about a Stonewaller penalty that got him booked is insane. He should have been off for Zambrano. That's at least a booking, a red for me. He should have, well, if he got a booking for the first one, he'd definitely been sent off for his foul on Malem. Bay, should have got booked for his foul on Coyle, but didn't. And then Coyle gave him a bit back in the second half, which was lovely. And yeah, look, the set piece, it's a stupid one. Because I hate zonal marking with a passion. You should just hit your man and stick with him. You stick the tallest one on the tallest one, the shortest one on the shortest one, and the rest are all about the same height and just sort of mingle and pick who they want to mark. But the fact for Deer, our tallest player ran towards at the front post and just did nothing was infuriating. And the way the season's gone, I'll stop my mic out in a second. Thank you for that. As soon as that first goal went in, I thought, like, oh my god, the way this season's gone.
We're not going to get back into it.
Get back into this, and Stoke have won it. And I still don't think we win it by the margin we do without the penalty in the second half. But we take them. Was the Deer offside for it? Maybe. But that's Championship referees. If they don't spot that and then there's the foul afterwards, they give the penalty, don't they?
Well, I think the Deer was offside.
Only response to that is Millwall. That wasn't handball. Do you remember all those moons ago when penalty should have been given against Millwall? This season, Nathaniel, are you deaf? Are you dumb? Are you blind? Do you not?
Yes, I remember.
Handball? No, I can't remember that Millwall game. It was so dull. I can't remember anything about that. No, I think Badia was offside, and I think Bellumi was also offside. I guess the Stoke player brings the ball down, but I still feel like he's only reacting to the pass Badia's, knocked the head on, and Bellumi gets into it and interferes with play. So I think probably they shouldn't have given that as a foul because Bellumi's offside as well. Maybe. But I'm very happy to take it. And I think we were in that situation where we needed a bit of luck. And I think Walter needed a bit of luck. And we got it. And then we played pretty well after that. I think I just want to get, maybe two things, because Notion 3000 here says, have we ever found out why Luton got rid of Rowan Giles so quickly?
Because they got promoted.
Jarme played pretty well. Well, no, they signed him when they got promoted.
Signed.
Yeah, so he was playing in the Premier League. Well, maybe, but I think the main thing is that he's not really looked like I don't want to criticise him too much, but he doesn't look like the best player in our system or under the new manager.
I don't think it's that. That's the reason why he's looking a bit iffy. I think it's more a case of he doesn't want to be here.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to say that myself, but it does seem like that. Or it certainly doesn't not seem like that. And I think Jarme played pretty well. Of course, it just reminds me of Trippier, like we saw so much, looking a little bit out of position with right-footed play on the left side. But he had a pretty good game. The last thing I want to mention is I think that Malem doesn't offer anything. Maybe he will when he gets into the game more. But I thought I'd much rather see Slater and Palmer playing those positions or Amur than Malem. I'm not sure he's really done quite that much. I think he had two things I remember he did. One, he got fouled, and one, he just gave the ball away trying to do the same thing. He tries to do this turn where he sort of takes the defenders completely out of position. But other than that, I thought everyone else was pretty good. So do we want to just wax Liverpool about? Yeah, go on, Joe.
Pushed out wide. By the way, does my microphone sound a little bit better now?
It does.
Will?
Yeah.
Sound all right?
Yeah.
Cool. We'll go with it. I thought Abdush out wide again was bizarre, especially considering we had Liam Miller and he was brought off, obviously, and Miller did well. So we've, having proved that Abdush isn't good out wide, we move him central and he has a better game, only to get moved back out wide, but on a different side. That was a little bit of a strange selection thing for me. And there was another thing I was going to mention. Slater, obviously, I thought Panda did well when called upon. And we've mentioned drama. Zambrano, I thought, although in the first half we were incredibly exposed and open and disorganised in transition and went out of possession, I thought in spite of that, Zambrano had some really, really good moments, and I'm pleased that it looks like it's just an impact injury for him at this stage. And
well, shame it's going to be a 2-year ban for him in a few days, probably.
I hope not. Yeah, to be picking the ball up relatively well, and it was a shame that he got injured, but looks like him and Amur, I think those are just slight concerns, and Slater as well. Thought maybe he'd missed the Stoke game. It looks like they're going to be back, which is good. Do we want to wax lyrical about Casey Palmer first, or the? Because I think we do both.
Do both. Why would we not? Why would we not do both?
Let's start with Miller, because I thought it made sense for him not to start the previous match, because he'd just come back from international duty. But as soon as he came on in the Sheffield United game, he looked sharp. And I don't know why he didn't start, because as soon as he came on, some of his crosses weren't good, but he got into the game. And it's better to be involved in the match, even if your crosses aren't that great, rather than do nothing. Like we've seen Jarvis, he's made an impact, whereas Miller hasn't been able to do that on the wing. And then basically 2 assists from Miller. He's been our best signing so far, I think, by far. Yes, it's Miller time. That's a logo. Will, I think
that's a very cool logo
up on the image. What is It's Miller time? Is that a show? Is that a brand? What is that, Will?
I can tell because you're young. It's an alcohol. Obviously, you're allowed to drink them at the moment at your age.
I've had lots of alcohol.
It's an American beverage.
I had tequila and whiskey last night.
And I assume you was arrested for underage drinking?
Not, like, properly. Yes, I was, but I got out on bail, fortunately. So I'm recording this from a jail cell.
I said that jail cell was very nice.
Funnier.
It's just a great green screen he's got behind him.
Yeah, I just painted this. I just take it around with me wherever I'm filming from. I should do that. It's not a bad idea. But yeah, Miller was really good. This is derailed very quickly, isn't it?
Miller was great. Good interception for Slater's goal. He was direct, and I think having Casey Palmer with him allowed him to sort of lean on Palmer's championship experience and know-how a little bit, if you get what I'm trying to say. And I just want to say for Slater's goal quickly, as I mentioned it there, Regan's admitted his first touch wasn't great, but Balumi massively helped him out. That run on Slater's outside, just to drag that defender out an extra half a yard, allowed Slater space just to open his body up and hit it. And then as soon as Regan Slater hit that was never ever getting stopped.
That's a good comment there from Notion 3000. I know, Will, you just put that up. I was going to put that up in a second, but he says, I was. I'm happy to take criticism because I'm happy to be proven wrong. I think I'll probably go on about it a little bit in a second, but obviously I think most people do want us to win football matches, but it was 5 games, and I think they're not going to look completely moronic or stupid, but I think some people were saying, Volta should be sacked, at half-time against Stoke or before the Stoke game. We've now won. We're looking to go and win another game against the bottom team next week. I'm glad we've got that win. We can all relax a bit.
We've seen signs of life, haven't we?
There's a few signs of life.
My point of view was always 10 games. And then judge.
You mean like a normal person, Joe?
Like a normal person.
People used to do.
I passed criticism, yes. I passed praise when I was at the Fenerbahce game, that first game that fans were allowed to watch of his football. I was, you can watch my piece of content I put on my own stuff for that, and I was, taking everything in and explaining what was going on, and saying, all right, this looks quite interesting. And throughout pre-season, it didn't matter because it's pre-season. But it's all right saying, look, there's some warning signs here. He looked all right. He didn't look all right. But it doesn't matter ultimately. So people saying it's been 13, 14, however many games without a win for Tim Walter.
It's only ever been 5.
It's
only ever been 5.
It's so funny when people said in pre-season, oh, it's only pre-season, it doesn't matter. And then as soon as the season starts, it was like, oh, pre-season was a shot. So what changed? I'm just sick of this. Like, I'm just sick of the hypocritical sycophants.
It's sort of cherry picking, isn't it? The periodization, you can say, oh, well, this team's only won this amount of games in this amount of time, but the games we hadn't won at the back end of last season and pre-season, we've signed however many players in August.
Yeah. It was a difficult position that Walter was putting in the summer with the high turnover and signing players late, etc., etc. And because of that, it always had to be 10 games, and that you're allowed to pass criticism and critique things that aren't going right. That's fine, but you can't be calling for the manager's head in this like really short period at the start of the season. Yeah. And I know we speculated about would he pull the trigger, how many more games are you giving him? Because Cardiff, QPR, Norwich would take him up to 8, and then there's an international break. But no, for me, it was always 10 games and then see if it was any good. But now we've seen signs of life. If that life can grow and develop more against Cardiff, and then we potentially get some out of QPR and Norwich, all of a sudden the complexion of the season looks totally different to what it did when we had this discussion about how long do we think Walter's got left last week.
Yeah. I think Chris has a good point there. We're still coming towards the end of pre-season, or we were with all. We didn't have all the players signed. I mean, we're 6 games in. We're probably going to sign another striker. We've got Alzate, we've got Hughes, we've got Rushworth, we've got Puerta. So I think it's that 5 players at least who haven't even made their debut
we've probably
yet.
Also got João Pedro.
That's
what. Or 5 or 6.
Yeah, Longman to come back from injury.
Cynic to come back from injury.
Although he
doesn't count. He does not count, but he could do.
We've got Timothy and Harvey to come back from injury, of course. More goalkeepers.
Going a bit far.
The under-21s the other day. The Ukrainian, I'd imagine. That's based on no info. I don't know. That's just a guess. I will try and ask though.
I'm sorry, I didn't even answer Notion 3000's comment. He said that I mentioned on Radio Hammer's side that I was confused as to why we signed Palmer. But considering Malem hasn't really done much, I'm very happy we signed him because I thought he was really good. Even though he missed the penalty, which is not what Cole Palmer does, reminds me a little bit of him because mostly just the name. And he was really good. Basically scored 2 goals, and maybe it's that bit of championship nous that we need because he was basically playing the same position as Malem, and he got the ball about 10 times more. And it's just like he wants the ball, he makes things happen. That is sort of player we need. Aaron says, do you see Puerta getting recalled in January if he carries on not playing? We're 6 games in. He only got signed like 2 or 3 games ago. We need to give it a bit of time. Sorry, Aaron. Warlord says Cynic will score a goal this season for Hull. No, he won't. He won't. Yeah.
He will. He'll score in the under-21 Cup as the overage player. Oh, no, we're out of that, aren't we? Oh, wait, he won't score in that either. Oh, Christ.
You can't even do that. That's a shame. I think we'd see Slater and Miller starting the next match, certainly, won't we?
Probably. I would be surprised, especially if Miller.
I'd expect to still see Drama in, still see Panda as well. There'll be no big. There'll be no big
reaction out of me there. No, there shouldn't be.
There'll be no big changes. If Pedro's done, depending on how fit he is when he comes in, he might feature.
I don't think he'll feature. You have to at least get fit.
No.
depends how much of a pre-season he's had, really, doesn't it? Because coming out of Gremio, depending on when he came out of there, he might still be in decent nick. But like, because Alzate was released from Brighton at the end of the season, he had a little bit of pre-season with Ipswich, but not a lot. So he's in a position where he needs to build his fitness up, and it's no surprise, that he hasn't featured yet.
I reckon QPR, he might be on the bench to make an appearance, but any time before that, I'm not too sure. I think we'll do a whole João Pedro sort of breakdown in just a second, but a few more things about Stoke. What do we think about Badia? Because I think criticising him so far for not scoring or not getting involved wouldn't really be his fault, because he never gets the ball, bless him. So I think what he does off the ball, it is, but he seems to offer himself a little bit more. He does more off the ball than Oscar. His runs in behind are more promising than Oscar.
For a big lad, he makes some brilliant runs in behind, but it's again the same problems we had with Oscar, where he doesn't get on the ball enough in the right areas, but he's better at holding the ball up than Oscar is. I think he can make some better runs in behind than Oscar could. So I think he suits the system more. It's just getting that ball to him in the right areas, putting the crosses in that meet him, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think there's potential for him to do quite well, but he just needs that one chance, like a proper chance, and then take it, and then he'll be off, hopefully. But I mean, for the amount of crosses we put in, it doesn't seem like any of them actually go towards him. I don't know whether that's his movement.
Since you mentioned crosses, actually, I need to get this off my chest, since you'll have already talked about it. But Jesus, obviously I wasn't here. Jesus Christ, that Sheffield United game. I wanted to end it. If we kept taking corners and just
your Sky Sports subscription, you mean? Yeah.
Well, like Balumi didn't get one off the floor, did he?
Anyway, go back to we won. I don't want to think about Sheffield United again. But Jesus Christ, son.
It was very bad. But winning is very good, and I like winning. I hope we win some more.
I just want to say quickly.
It's nice to beat them. Yeah, go on, Jack.
I just want to say quickly the pictures of Ajun, Tan, and Tim at the end of the game. I've seen a whole sequence of them and on the various photography sites that I look at, and I think Tan's saying, "Ajun, you two-faced, you only came here to get rained."
I wouldn't be. All I had in mind when I saw them as well was, he's just going to sack him, isn't he? He's here to sack him because he wants us to lose 4-3, not 4-0. It's still exciting. Someone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hope we just keep winning games rather than losing 4-3. But I mean, I can't believe we scored 3 goals. It didn't look like we were going to have 3 shots on target the whole game, and then we did.
I mean,
so that penalty
one
really
of them wasn't really a shot on target.
No, that's true. It really wasn't.
It was a mishmash of.
Fair play to Wilmot for Stoke. He scored at both ends. Pretty good for him.
Yeah, that's exciting.
But do you remember Jack Watmer when we were in League One for Portsmouth? Scored against,
and then he did it again in a different game as well for someone else.
He scored it. Yeah, he did do it in a different game, but he scored against us in the home game, and then 2 own goals for us in the away game.
And then the following season, he scored an own goal for us again. I can't remember who for, but I remember he definitely did it.
I think he moved to Wigan, didn't he? The following season or season after
definitely
that.
Scored another own goal for us.
But I think the week after he scored the 2 own goals for us, he got sent off as well.
He's like Kamil Zayati.
Oh, Kamil Zayati, wow.
I wasn't born then.
I don't remember Kamil Zayati. I just know he was useless.
No, just me, this ancient lad over in the corner who remembers him. And it was only 15 years ago.
Yeah, well, it was 2009, 2010 region, wasn't it? I imagine.
Yeah.
15 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, good point. That's true. Yeah. Anything else to mention about Stoke? I'm just really glad we won. I was the only person on Tigers Talk that predicted a win. I said 4-0. It was 4 goals, 3 to us. Pretty close.
Well, if I'd been
No
around,
one
I would
believed
have
me.
been 3-0, so I would have got the right number of goals.
That's true. We would have got the same amount of points. Yeah. So, yeah, ye of little faith, Joe. You know.
Yeah, I know. Ye of little faith, eh?
It's quite nice to have won a game. I think we're 15th.
I don't know.
It's not so bad. We've only lost 2 games against Sheffield United and Leeds. You know, looking to win against Cardiff. We might maybe sign another player this week. It's all looking up now. It's lovely.
I've forgotten what this feels like.
Yeah, well, it has been a long time. Yeah, it was early April, wasn't it? Last win. Haven't won at home for even longer. We can say that. We can complain about that now. But yeah, pretty good. Shall we talk about the elephant in the room? Now, if you'll humour me for a moment, I'm going to do a visual joke, which is great for the podcast medium. So
it's great for audio listeners. That fantastic.
Yeah, we're
stuff.
signing this lad João Pedro. I think he's a left back who plays in the MLS. Oh wait, no, it's a Brazilian João Pedro. Ignore me.
No, he's Italian.
The striker. He plays for Brighton, João Pedro, and he used to be at Watford. Oh wait, no, he's Brazilian, but with Italian citizenship. It's João Pedro, formerly of Fenerbahce, that we're signing. So 32-year-old free agent striker, recently at Grêmio in Brazil. Will's just face palming, so I'll go to you first, Joe. I think you had mixed feelings on this signing initially.
I did, and I still do to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
He's got very, very good.
It really is.
It's great banter, says James Richardson. Thank you, James. I'm sure you mean that without any hint of sarcasm.
Anyway, João Pedro has very, very good pedigree. Don't get me wrong. The goals he scored for Cagliari in Serie A between 2014 and 2022, brilliant. But if he was anywhere near that player, I don't think he'd be anywhere near signing for Hull City at 32. Obviously, we've left ourselves in this position having to sign a free agent striker because we didn't get the adjunct turn of phrase "one might happen" one in the transfer window. And look, he's better than nobody. And in terms of free agent options out there, he's probably one of the better ones. But after leaving Cagliari, he's flopped at Fenerbahce. He's flopped in Brazil back on loan. And I think the only reason we've looked at him is because
Adjun loves a good Fenerbahce flop.
He does.
Exactly. The only reason we're looking at him is because he was recently released by Fenerbahce. They wanted to move him on in the summer. I'm not sure if I've got this right or not. I will do a quick little impromptu fact check of myself here. But I think they wanted to get rid of him, but couldn't, so released him. I think.
That's still the same thing.
Yeah, so they couldn't
get rid
sell
of him because they released him.
Yeah, they couldn't sell him, sorry, so they had to release him. And Adjun said he didn't want to go for any players from the Turkish Super League in the summer. It is now no longer the summer, and he has got back on that horse. And he's bringing a comrade.
He's a free agent. He's not in the Turkish Super League.
Not a Super League player, so he's off the hook for 2 accounts there, Adjun. Fair play. Pretty clever, sticking to his word. Doesn't do that very
often. He's clever, that Adjun. He knows what he's doing.
To summarise, it doesn't blow my socks off. Do I think he'll score many goals? No, but we need a striker. He's better than nobody.
Yeah. Coxey says
Connolly endorsement.
Coxey says Connolly had flopped at previous clubs we know Delap had and then turned out okay. But here's the question: would you rather have Aaron Connolly, Will, than João Pedro? If pretend that signing a player who we've sort of rejected twice in the past.
I hate this question so much.
I know, but it's just a hypothetical. If he'd done the exact same thing at Preston, rather than for Hull, would you have Carney over João Pedro? I mean, you would, wouldn't you?
I couldn't answer because that's an incredibly stupid hypothetical.
Okay.
I'll just
Would you?
I'll just use it based on what he was like because he technically is still a free agent, Aaron Connolly, so you could pick him up. Based purely on the fact I know how Aaron Connolly plays, I'd be probably more tempted just purely because I know how he plays. The problem is Angus Gunn murdered him, so he's not the same person anymore.
He might go to Prague, mightn't he? I might go to Prague. Also, I want to go on holiday to Prague.
It's a stupid hypothetical. It's a stupid hypothetical because Aaron Connolly was so obviously a Liam Rosenior player, a Liam Rosenior signing. So if you ignore the fact we've released him just for a second, he was so heavily a Liam Rosenior player.
Has he been sighted in Strasbourg?
I don't think so.
No.
To be fair, he doesn't need him. They're doing all right. So
they're doing okay. Yeah.
They've signed Sekou Mara this summer. They can do without Aaron Connolly.
Yeah. Steve Sorensen says, is Pedro better than Badia currently? I mean, I don't think you need to be better than, and I don't think you could expect to get a player that's better than what you currently have in September the 22nd. I'd say that Pedro is a shorter player, allegedly a quicker, more nimble player than a Badia or a Burstow. He would offer something different. He would be the most experienced player we have at the club. We don't actually have anyone who's 30 or older. So that's something. It used to be the captain at Cagliari. Can score a free kick. I mean, we might need him for that. I mean, it will take 2 or 3 weeks for him to get fit, but it's a big if. I think he had an ankle injury at Fenerbahce. I've seen an image of him sort of rolling over on his ankle. I think that's probably why he didn't do quite so well. I think it's worth a gamble for a year, and I think that with the money that we were allegedly wanting to spend on a striker in January, we probably still will sign up a striker in January, and it would probably be that Burstow would get loaned out. You'd have Badia and Pedro and another striker in January. So from that perspective, I think this is a much wiser signing than a Liam Cooper would have been. I'm very excited, as Coxie says, mostly because of his FIFA stats, and it will make walking the championship even easier.
Because as we know, FIFA is exactly like real life.
Well, no, that's not what I'm saying, is it, Will? I'm saying I'm excited about the signing because of his FIFA stats, not because of that it means he'll be good for the club, but because I get to play with him on FIFA. That's why I'm excited about it.
You could have played with him on FIFA anyway. You could have just moved him to Hull City yourself.
Yeah, but as Joe and I was saying before, and you, Will, that for the first one, if you're doing the new career mode game on FC25, although other video games are available, it's nice to do a realistic one where you don't make any signings and you use the squad.
Where's my gun?
Yeah, you can use it if you want.
While Will finds his gun, can I do another little signing bit?
Yeah, sure.
So some of you may have, I referenced this earlier in the pod, some of you may have noticed a trialist keeper for the under-21s.
Another keeper, get in! Just what we need.
I know. In their
we've got more than Chelsea.
In their Premier League Cup defeat to Coventry, there was Callum Yam on the bench. George Wilson played for the under-18s the next day in his recovery from injury. No Owen Foster to be seen, although he did play earlier in the week for the 21s. There was a trialist in goal. We have been linked with another keeper.
It's ridiculous. I just don't understand how it can be possibly beneficial. I mean, because you can't play him like a left back or a right wing or whatever. You can play him and rotate them, but you can't really do that for goalkeepers. It's not good for their development. It's not good for the back four either.
Vladislav Krapivstov, I think his name is Vladislav Krapivstov. Yes, he's highly rated by Chelsea and all this kind of thing. Was apparently at Sunderland. There's no stats about how he's played for clubs anywhere. He was at SC Dnipro for a little bit. There's nothing about if he's played for them, but he has got 7 caps for the Ukraine under-19s team. They've only lost once when he's been in goal, and he has kept for them 5 consecutive clean sheets, I think. Is it 5 consecutive?
It'll be a bit difficult.
It's 5 out of his last 7. He's kept 5 clean sheets in 7 games.
It'll be a bit difficult to get a guest on who's an expert in Ukrainian under-19 football. I'm much more excited about the João Pedro signing. I mean, if we can agree on anything, I think the João Pedro signing would be better than this academy
Vladislav
Ukrainian goalkeeper. Yeah, I'm not even Vlad. I'm more excited about signing João Pedro.
What is going on?
This is quite wild. I mean, this is what happens when I've had a cider in the afternoon, Will's come on. He's a bit rusty, and Joe's just so excited after your first 1 week or 2 weeks of uni now. You're still alive, so he's made it this far.
It's Freshers Week this week.
Just Freshers Week. Good. Oh, to be young. Do you remember your Freshers Week, Will? Any good stories?
It was cancelled because of the Second World War.
The joke is that you're old. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I haven't had one yet. I'm too young. In 10 years, I've had a Freshers Week. So it's going.
You're not even allowed to see a Disney film with the
everyone here
still,
smash a like for us. No, Disney. It's all PG. Anything 12 is too scary for me. And saying give us a like, but I don't think we deserve it at the moment. I'm sure we normally have more than 70 live listeners. I think a few people have probably left rather than joined. This is going lovely.
Hopefully, Tigers Talk will be better
else?
for you lot on Wednesday. A bit less carnage.
Yeah. Well, anything else to mention about the potential signing of João Pedro? Because I think there's potential for that to go well. The most likely scenario is that he plays off the bench a few times, and Badia is basically going to be our main striker until we get someone in January.
It means we have more than 2 strikers, which I would consider a positive, no matter the quality of the strikers. I suppose Silas Fleming is also a striker, but he just doesn't get picked. So.
Silas Fleming. I mean, he needs to go out on loan somewhere, doesn't he? But I will enjoy scoring 50 goals in the Championship with João Pedro on FIFA and him not scoring 1. He just has to beat Sharp 1 goal and he's better than Billy Sharp. I mean,
but he needs 2 goals to be better than Dan Graham.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be relatively easy for him to not be the worst we've ever signed after Billy Sharp. So I think he's just got to focus on that. If you're João Pedro, if he's listening to this podcast, which he won't be, your goal is just
don't sign. Run now.
Run.
This is where strikers go to die, João.
It really is, isn't it? It
was literally just Dino, and that's it.
Yeah.
How many did Dele Adebola score?
Did he?
50. None. Mbakani,
City, Nathaniel, not for Bristol.
Yeah, Interpolman saying Longman was a bad striker. I mean, he's a winger, and he's scored a few. Up front. Sorrow here has a good note that if we do sign Pedro, that will be 25 players registered, and so we might have to do some swapping around. Yeah, I think Burstow on loan, bring in, Fofana on loan or someone like that from Chelsea. It would be something like that, I'd say. Anything else before we mention the 120th year anniversary match against Cardiff?
I'm just trying to see who's registered for us, to be honest. I've scrolled too far, still too far. Huddersfield, Hull City. There we go.
Java's everyone is registered because I can feel like that's coming on the way. That's good.
I'm looking at this
he
list.
Could be
I'm thinking Jacob and Jarvis might go out. perhaps one of the keepers too. I'd say Cynic, but
Definitely.
Adjan will veto that. Andy Smith, perhaps, as well.
So there's options there. There's definitely options there to do some swapping around then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. So yes, I mentioned it. Of course, Hull City founded in 1904. Even though it's not really to the day, they've chosen the Cardiff match as the 120th anniversary match. There might be, I think, because they changed the logo. I feel like they might do some sort of kit or something for that special
I'd
badge.
just like to say the game was never meant to be a 120th anniversary special game because the special fourth kit that they're doing was meant to be used for the Fiorentina home game in pre-season, but it didn't arrive in time.
Oh, wonderful. We've had kit problems before. At least the badges played on this year.
Is it? We couldn't really play a league game on our actual birthday because it was end of June that they were formed, which is close to when the Fiorentina friendly was, which would have made sense.
Yeah. Well, let's do it, shall we? Let's do it. Let's do the best part of the podcast. It's a combined lineup. I mean, other than the fact that, well, Errol Bulut, the Cardiff manager, has been sacked, and that Cardiff is rubbish. I don't know whether you can really say too much, but this lineup it's just
the best one yet.
Lineup. It's 11 Hull players. 2 weeks ago, it was 11 Sheffield United players. So we've improved since then.
Is this just your predicted team for Saturday's game, Nathaniel?
It is, isn't it? But the one Cardiff player who's actually scored hasn't even played the last few games, so I can't even put him in. So it's the Hull City team. Thoughts?
Like I said, it might be your best one yet.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a mockery of the whole genre, though, Will. And I take my combined lineups not that seriously, but somewhat seriously.
I was going to say, where would you go with that? Because it was going to be a lie.
Yeah.
Just real quickly, since you've got over it, what does anyone think? Joe, do you know what the 120th kit looks like?
Yes, I do.
Orange.
Go on
then. Is that a go on? Did I hear a go on then?
Go on then.
My sources tell me.
Your sources. Got to make sure it's not you that gets in the shit here.
Yeah, it isn't me. I've not been told anything directly by the club.
See, tell you what, don't describe it. Don't describe it. Just say what is it? Is it like a 60s kit? Is it?
I haven't seen it, but I've been told it's black and gold, and apparently it blows all of the rest of the kits from this season out the water in terms of how good it is.
I'm personally hoping it's like this is only because it's a retro game and it's a one-off. I'm hoping it's like the old 60s one that had the two hoops across the middle. Personally, sponsorless, badgeless. Well, that bit badged off. Keep the retro one of that. That's it. It won't be, but I hope it's that.
Kappa taping added to that, Will? Yay or nay?
No, because it's a retro kit, and we've only just now got Kappa. If it wants to look like a retro kit, it shouldn't have any Kappa taping on it.
Okay.
I hope it's just a egregious template of another kit.
Do the early 80s Adidas kit, which they can't get away with because they're not Adidas.
That's a good point. Was it an Umbro one, which was the sort of tiger print?
No, that one, Umbro, that was match winner.
That was...
Right.
Was that match winner or was it Paletta?
Match winner? Tiger Tube in the comments will kill us and probably get it right.
Yeah. I suppose, are those companies anymore? Do they exist anymore?
Yeah,
Does that mean they can buy the copyright off them?
It was Match Winner. Well, Match Winner are currently doing retro stuff for Hull City. They did the recent retro shirt and jacket.
Maybe they've got...
The print shirt is going to get made at some point in the future. If they carry on doing that, it will get made.
Yeah. Match Winner. Tiger Tube says Match Winner. I have no idea. The only Match Winner I know of is Casey Palmer.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Just a little joke. Just a little joke for you. Just a little joke for you. Yeah. I mean, it was a pretty
Nobody
windy
laughed.
night. So does that mean he actually was cold Palmer?
No.
Stoke at night, pretty cold. No.
Is this as good a
There's
place to
somebody.
end this episode after those two?
I'm gonna kick you out of this, Nathaniel, if you carry on.
I should just leave on my own volition. Really, that was shocking. I can only apologise. I can only apologise because I will not stop. I can only apologise. I'm the host. You know, good luck doing the outro without me. I do it so flawlessly all the time. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that kit's going to be like. It'll be nice. What, do the intro or outro? Oh, I've done it wrong already. You should kick me off, Will. Kick me off. Kick me off.
Oh, no, it's just a waste of time.
Yeah, it is pretty much.
Anyway, Cardiff.
Yeah, they're really bad.
Hey, isn't it nice that we're going to play at home on a Saturday at 3:00? That's going to be great, isn't it? I've not seen one of them in a while.
No, not even like back in the last season, was it?
What is this witchcraft?
It should be every game, not the sort of the rare thing.
Yeah, since he's not, I don't know, mentioned before. Sky Sports can do one because
the next home game after this is 3:00, but on a Sunday.
Yeah,
makes sense. Is that a thing? Whole fair thing?
No, it's the international break when Hull Fair's on.
It's a Sky Television thing.
Yeah, it's a Sky Television thing, and Sky don't give a crap about the match going public. They only give understandably, because they're a TV company, they give a crap about the viewership.
They don't even bother sending the presenters to the grounds anymore. They just stick them in a studio in central London and say, right, have it.
Yeah, it's rubbish because I can't even say it. Oh.
Ian's comment here for audio listeners after our bizarreness tonight. There's no wonder the awards have stopped.
I mean, the awards never started. We just got lucky.
Pretty much.
Hey, for the FCAs this year, you don't get free entry, I don't think. I think you've got to pay £100 to get in.
Yeah. We're not paying.
Well, you didn't.
Quid, are we? Yeah, I don't think we did. Yeah. Do we think Walter will be at the whole fair?
Yes, hopefully he's on the Kentucky races like Slutsky was.
Those were better times, simpler times.
Going back to the Sky Sports thing, the only positive is they announced all of them up to Christmas, so that you knew them well in advance. Problem is,
you can plan.
They're still all shite times.
Yeah,
it should really only be on a Saturday at 3:00 and no other time.
It's not. It's nasty. It's not a nasty surprise. That's something. Yeah. Shall we do a prediction for Cardiff?
You mentioned Sky Sports coverage as well. Sorry, I'm going to continue this tangent and ranting. You mentioned Sky Sports coverage, but there's a worse coverage of the EFL, and that is ITV's coverage of the EFL, where they barely even talk at the game they're at, and then they offer no analysis on anything else. It's horribly edited. It's just bring back Manish. I want my Football League highlights at 1 a.m. after match of the day, and I only get 20 seconds of footage. It's so much better.
6th most watched or attended league in the world or in Europe, and there isn't like a proper. There should be a match of the day, not 2 because there is one.
There was. It was called the Football League show that had Manish Basine on it.
It was great. It was great. I can't believe that
they've Steve Claridge, a bit of Leroy Rossini. Can't be a bit of that.
It's got worse, hasn't it? It's got worse year on year, the coverage. It's gone to Quest as well and that sort of thing.
Quest was decent.
That was okay, but it was still a slight step down from the Football League show. I mean, it's in the pits at the moment. I mean, next year probably won't have any coverage about. If you're not at that match, you don't get to see it.
ITV have no clue what to do a lot of sports coverage now because they cancelled their. I mean, I'm not massive biggest fan of it. I mean, I've watched bits and bobs. They cancelled their NFL highlights, so there's no NFL highlights in the UK anymore. And I know all people like American football nowadays. You can't watch any now because they cancelled it. It was on BBC, then ITV took it and cancelled it after a season. So I don't know what they're
Just
doing.
to round this point off, the overall sham of this year's Sky deal is in the first half of the season, we have 3 Saturday 3 p.m. home kickoffs. Good
analysis, Joe. Good maths there.
3.
That's rubbish, isn't it?
I was actually quite amazed. I was actually surprised that Leeds United had a 3 o'clock Saturday kickoff before us because Sky loves them. I thought they'd have literally every game on TV. They'd never play a 3 o'clock kickoff.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Stupid.
Anyway, Cardiff.
Yeah, let's predict the Cardiff game. Will, do you think maybe 3-0 to Hull, something like that?
How do you know? It's like I'm back after a while and I'm going to get right back
I'm in
into
your head.
it. Hull
I'm in
City
your head,
3,
Will.
Cardiff City 0. I believe it was it against Cardiff or was it against QPR when I finally broke that streak?
It's Cardiff.
It doesn't matter anyway, either way, regardless, because it's going to happen again.
Nice. Okay. Joe?
And it's going to be
Pedro hat-trick.
A mare. Miller's finally going to get that Miller time and get a brace, and a mare's going to get the other.
Nice. Bold shouts. Joe?
I'm going to roll back the years with my prediction. I'm going to say we're going to win 2-0 and the goal scorers are going to be Ken Wagstaff and Giovanni.
I remember watching
what you've done there. I see what you've done there. That's very clever, Joe.
It is. It's a very clever little bit of playing on the fact it's a 120th anniversary.
Why are people still watching?
Yeah, I don't know. 84
Seriously, I think we'll win 2-0. I can see us keeping a clean sheet, even though they've got a new manager bounce. Miller's going to get his first goal, and so is Mohamed Baloumi.
Yeah. 1-0 Cardiff. Well, thanks everyone for spending your time with us. And
you had to ruin it, Nathaniel.
Jesus Christ!
No.
Slow down.
I jest. Let's carry on that momentum. I don't think it's going to be a free-flowing game. I think it'll be tight. And Cardiff are going to sort of the first thing a new manager does, or the interim manager does.
Cardiff are doing everything to get something out of it because they're in serious trouble at the moment.
1-0 Bedia. That's what I'll go for. Bullet header from a corner. We're going to break our duck. That's the thing I didn't mention.
It's a game that we have to win. Otherwise, it would be almost disrespectful to not win.
I mean,
how poor Cardiff have been so far this season, we have to. Yeah. It's set up perfectly, as we all know, for typical City.
If we don't win, the pressure's right back on Bolter, isn't it? After easing it against Stoke, so he needs to win, just for all our sanity. I think.
Christ, I don't even want to think about what social media will look like. Jesus,
it'll be bad. I mean, it won't be quite as bad as because we beat Stoke, but win and we can really put that sort of dodgy time since April really behind us. It's been a miserable time. We can put it behind us and sort of move on. That's a new chapter. Win it away, win at home, and we can all just relax and move on and start not thinking about we're going to get relegated, which I've seen quite a lot.
Well put, Nathaniel. Well put.
Yeah, fingers crossed. So 3 City wins we predicted, or predicted. No, 3 predictions for a City win. I got it eventually.
A full house, you could have said, and you managed to turn it into like a 5-sentence mess.
Yeah, well, I enjoy. I'm looking forward to enjoying the full house and the atmosphere that brings with the 120th anniversary match when we go on Saturday. Will and Joe, thanks for joining me, and everyone who's commented in and stuck with us to the bitter end. I'm sorry, and we'll be back next week with another, hopefully, a much better episode than this one. Ta-ta.